Hi, one of my subscribers, Dory, asked me, how can I take photos in a zoo without the fence ruining the pictures? The obvious solution would be to push the lens and the camera through the fence, but she sent me photos of tigers, so probably that would not be a good idea. So in other words, how can you achieve a very shallow depth of field so that the fence in the foreground will get out of focus and therefore it will be as blurred as possible? Cute ferrets and a quick guide to depth of field. Coming up. I have seen many great photos that have been taken in a zoo, and you wouldn't have told that they have been taken in an artificial environment. So it's possible to take good photos of the animals in the zoo even behind a dense chain link fence. We just have to keep in mind three things. The key here is to separate the animal, the fence, and the camera proportionally as much as possible so that the fence will get out of focus and will be blurred as much as possible. The easiest way to achieve this is to get physically as close to the fence as possible. I took these photos with the same focal length, and you can see that when I was further, the fence was sharper, it was more visible. But when I went closer, the fence got more blurred and it was hardly visible. The other way to make the depth of field more shallow is to increase the focal length. I shot this one with 140 mm and the fence is quite disturbing, but when I zoomed to 250 mm, then the fence almost disappeared. The third way to increase the background or foreground blur is to make the aperture wider, that is, setting a smaller f number. Here's a comparison taken with the same lens with different apertures. Note how much the background and the foreground blurs at f2 compared to f16, which is a narrow aperture. Of course, everybody loves fast lenses, I do as well, but you can achieve decent background blur with kit lenses as well. You just have to position yourself and the model in a way that the background is really further away, and you should try to use longer focal lengths. Now back to the cute ferrets. Or weasels, I think they are ferrets. Here I was using my Nikon Z50 with a 50 to 250 mm lens on it, which has a maximum aperture of only f6.3 at 250 mm. But if I had the f2.8 lens, then the fence would have been much more blurred. Also keep an eye on the focus. It may happen that the fence messes up the autofocus and you may have to adjust manually. So to summarize it up, if you want to have more background or foreground blur, you should get as close to the subject as possible, you should use long focal length, and you should use a wide aperture. If you'd like to ask me anything in email or would like my feedback on some of your photos, just subscribe to my newsletter. You can find that under the video, and you will get a free checklist for Milky Way photography, and then hit reply on the newsletter and ask me anything. See you soon and all the best to you from Hungary.